Hey guys, welcome back to AnimezRUs, episode 5 of our Haven fanfiction read. Um, Last episode, poor Tavros didn't make it, and Kanaya is still missing. So let's just jump right in. John was awoken by a faint knock on the door. He groaned and shifted around, trying to untangle his limbs from the many covers that twisted around him. He could hear Karkat moving above him, and Solix next to him. "I swear to God if it's Pyrope again," Solix mumbled. "I told you I haven't seen her in weeks," Karkat retaliated. "Yeah, sure. Whatever, I'll get it." John looked up to see Karkat's soft foot dangling in front of his face as he slowly slid out of bed and onto the ground. He padded over to the door and out of John's field of vision. John closed his eyes again, all too eager to sleep for a few more hours. He heard the creak of the door opening, then a moment of silence. Oh my God. John clambered out of bed, trying to face the door, then immediately sprinted over. Kanaya was laying in the doorway, clothes ripped, eyes fluttering, and skin charred. Karkat and John each grabbed one of her shoulders and half carried, half dragged her over to the couch. The floor suddenly shuddered slightly as Solix jumped down to join them. If John had thought the burns Solix and Karkat had gotten looked painful, they were nothing compared to the current state of Kanaya's skin. Her face and neck and arms were raw and bleeding, making her appear suddenly completely green. Her mouth was open, lips shriveled from lack of moisture. There was a tear running down the middle of her shirt and on her pant legs, and her clothes were streaked with dirt. It looked like she had dragged herself along the ground all the way down the dirt tunnel. "How the hell did you escape?" Karkat said, sounding thoroughly freaked out. Kanaya groaned, not answering. Solix appeared at her elbow with a glass full of water, gently lifting her head, and tipped it into her mouth. She drank greedily, water spilling out the side of her mouth onto the sofa. When the cup was finished, she lay back down, panting slightly. "She didn't kill me," Kanaya said between breaths. "Left me outside, after she stabbed. I was out all day before I woke up." "Well, I don't know why she did, but I'm glad she did," Solix said, looking concerned. Kanaya didn't answer. Her eyes had closed. "We should get something for her skin," Karkat said, then left into the second room. Solix was still staring down at Kanaya, but John could tell he wasn't really looking at her anymore. "I don't know if this is good news or bad news," he finally said. "What do you mean?" "Well, this could be her saying that she only had it out for Tavros, and that she didn't care about us, you know? But it could also just mean that she has a thing for Kanaya for some reason." Karkat returned with several rags, doused in cold water, which he draped awkwardly over her forehead and arms, then sank into the second couch, putting his hands on his forehead. "The only reason," he said to no one in particular, "I lived in this goddamn hole in the ground is so that I could avoid all this shit. Like, it's hard enough to get food and crap. We don't need a fucking hitman on our tail." Solix crossed the room and flopped down next to him. "Right now, all we can do is think about this," he said. "Right now, let's assume that Mindfang is on our ass. So we have to stop her." "You can't. There's no fucking way you can stop her." "We can't, but there's one person who can." Karkat lowered his hands. She wouldn't do it. You know the history between the two of them. You don't know that. She would do it for you. Karkat glared at him. I told you, we're not a thing anymore. Yeah, with our fucking lives at stake, I think it wouldn't hurt to ask. Fine, you watch Kanaya. Karkat stood up and went into the other room, coming out a minute later in dark jeans and a black sweatshirt. John motioned to follow him, but Karkat shook his head. Sorry, kid, but you can't come today. I'm going way far in. With that, he flicked his hood up. Nothing visible but yellow glow of his eyes. Then opening the door and disappearing down the tunnel. Where's he going? He asked Solix. Trying to get a hold of an old friend of his, Red Glare. She's pretty hard to find. John nodded, then yawned, realizing how tired he was. Solix had spaced out again, staring straight ahead. So John slunk back over to his bed and crawled inside. His last thought before falling asleep was that he had already begun to think of this hole in the wall, with blankets as his own bed. After what seemed like 2 minutes, but was actually a little over an hour, John was awoken yet again by Solix shaking his shoulder. John blinked as his eyes opened to a blurry view of Solix, already dressed. Hey, Egbert, I have to leave for a little bit. Kanaya's still asleep, so just keep an eye on her until she wakes up, okay? I should be back in an hour or so. John nodded and rubbed his eyes. But by the time he removed his hands, Solix had left. He got up and got dressed, pulling on what he assumed were some of Solix's clothes left out for him. He really needed to get new clothes, but doubted that there were that many vendors left. Maybe Kanaya could make something for him. Her house looked like she always was making stuff. There was a knock on the door. Was Karkat back already? No, he wouldn't knock. For a moment, John froze, fearing it was Mindfang at the door, but dismissed that. What kind of murderer knocked? And besides, she stole the key off Tavros's body. That thought didn't make him feel entirely better, but it made him go and answer the door. He opened it a crack to see a female troll standing there. Hey, she said, I'm a friend of Karkat's. He told me to come here. John looked at her. She was taller than him, with long, rather messy hair. Her horns were much taller than Karkat's, or Solix's. One was identical to Kanaya's, the other shaped like a claw. She was dressed casually, a blue coat thrown over a black shirt and jeans. Are you Red Glare? He asked. He couldn't see any red on her besides her shoes, but maybe the name referenced something else. She smiled, showing glistening razor-sharp teeth. Looking closer, John could see that something was off about her left eye. She seemed to have more than one pupil. Yep, she answered. Where's Karkat? He had to see someone. He told me to come ahead. Oh, okay. Why don't you come in and wait? He opened the door, gesturing her inside, and suddenly feeling more at ease. Solix had said that Mindfang wouldn't hurt them as long as Red Glare was around. That's not Red Glare. Red Glare entered the room and stopped when she saw Kanaya passed out on the couch. What happened to her? Mindfang left her out in the sun, I think. Red Glare nodded and looked serious. Well, that won't be a problem for much longer. Yeah, thank you for doing this, by the way. No problem, she smirked. I know Mindfang very well. She crossed the room and settled herself on the couch. Is that your real name? John asked, curious. She laughed. Red Glare? No, it's a strange name. It's a stage name. Kind of stupid, actually. But now I can't shake it. Sounds intimidating, though. My real name is Vreska. I'm John. Nice to meet you. He walked over and joined her on the couch, sitting down silently. You're new, right? How long ago did you get here? Just a few days ago. He'd really only been here a few days. Time seemed to pass so much slower than before, or at least more things had been happening. Wow. Well, you seem to be adjusting quickly, and you won't look weird for long, trust me. Yeah, Carquette told me. I bet he did. He loves it, to talk your damn ear off. Yeah, John replied, feeling suddenly uncomfortable. The tone of voice she was taking didn't sound kind or joking at all. You seem quieter, though. I like you. She stared intensely at him. Thanks? John shifted, trying to think of a way that he could ask her to leave without being rude. I was going to kill you, you know. But now I don't think I will, she smiled, her eyes glinting dangerously. Wait, what? John said, sure he hadn't heard her clearly. I said, I don't think I'll kill you after all. You're cute. John rose from the couch, eyes wide. What? He started backing away, but Vriska rose to a standing position. She was quite a bit taller than him, looking down, examining her nails, which had been filed to a sharp point. You might have guessed, she said, looking up and baring her fangs again, but I'm not Red Glare. She moved faster than John could react, advancing on him, sliding her leg around the back of his knees, causing him to topple helplessly forward. She pushed him back and kneed, her knee planting on his chest, pressing him into the floor. He flailed and tried to arch his back up, but her hands moved like bullets, catching his wrists and planting them on the floor. Good, she smiled. I'm not going to hurt you. Are you Mindfang? He said, struggling for breath. Wow, she said mockingly. Nothing gets past you, does it? You're lucky you're pretty. The pressure on his chest decreased as she sat back on his abdomen and let his wrist go. John didn't make an attempt to free himself. He already knew it was futile. Vriska didn't speak for a moment, just sort of stared into space. John supposed she was beautiful in a strange, diddly kind of way, when she didn't have that creepy smile on. She turned back to him, about to say something, when they heard Kanaya's cough from the couch. Vriska's eyes went wide, and she turned to her left to see Kanaya's stirring form. Seemingly forgetting about John, she stood up and walked slowly over, kneeling by Kanaya's head. John scrambled backwards behind the second couch. From around the side, he could see that Kanaya's eyes were open now, the girl's face only a few inches apart. They were holding a whispered conversation. John couldn't pick up any of it, but after a few more seconds, Rissa stood up and abruptly left, leaving the door of the bunker swinging and not giving John a second glance. After a good 2 minutes of being frozen in place, John finally stood up on shaking legs and checked on Kanaya, whose eyes were closed again. Just then, Solix came walking through the door, soaking wet and shaking rain out of his hair. Sup, Egbert? Why's the door open? John only stared, trying to find his voice. Solix removed his glasses and wiped the raindrops off, looking up again. Mindfang. What? She was here. Solix stared at him, looking skeptical. Yeah, she killed Tavros. No, I mean like 10 minutes ago. What? How come you're still alive, then? She said she liked me, but that she was going to kill me, but then she decided not to. Then Kanaya woke up, and she went over and started talking to her. She had me pinned down, and then... Whoa there, Abert, calm down. Solix had his hands out. Okay, what happened? Slowly. She came in, said she was Red Glare, sat on me, talked to Kanaya, then left. She said she was Red Glare, and you believed her? Hey, I don't know what she looks like. Solix exhaled. Well, when you see her, the name will make sense. We should wait for Karkat to get back, and then decide what to do. Are you hungry? Yeah, John replied, settling down on the couch where Solix wandered towards the oven. Where were you, by the way? He asked, turning around. Solix shook his head. Doesn't matter. He returned a few minutes later with steaming noodles that John figured came from the dark blue ramen flavor. They ate in silence, aside from slurping occasionally. Why are your eyes like that? John finally asked, seeing Solix hadn't put on his glasses. The question, among numerous others, had been bugging him for a while. I don't know, just kind of happened. You can see, though, right? Not very well, and hardly in the dark. I never got the whole glowing eyes thing. So you can't see outside? Sort of, I guess. But I can still get around easily enough. I've been here a long enough time to know all the routes. How old are you? When were you diagnosed, I mean? 11. It was the first time anyone had really paid attention to me, I guess. No one liked me before because of the way I talked or whatever. But as soon as the light flashed red, it was all like, oh no, and I'm so sorry. Total bullshit. They got me at school, and they kept me locked in a locked room for 2 days. They didn't do that to me. Yeah, I guess it's different. It was different a few years ago. They were still trying to figure out more stuff about it. They took all these samples and tests and shit. I didn't see my parents or anyone again. And then after that, they just dumped me on a truck and left me here. Were you mad? Are you kidding? Yeah, I was mad. Spent the best part of 2 years trying to make this place less shitty for everyone who lived here. Getting electricity and running water and getting the fucking ancient oven to work. But by the time I finally got everything working, everyone but Karkat was dead. We're all fucking time bombs, ticking away, and then dropping right in order. Except if you get killed outright. I sometimes think it would almost be better to just... He broke off, looking down at his food again. Oh, shit. Hold up, guys. Sorry, I lost my place. John wondered what the whole right in order part meant, but he didn't inquire further. Solix looked like he was done talking for now. They finished in silence, Solix taking the bowls and stacking them by the oven to be washed in the shower later. He said he was working on trying to make a sink, but it was a long project, and he kept getting interrupted with shit like this. John assumed he was talking about Mindfang. Another half an hour passed before Karkat strode in, soaking wet, who left the fucking door open. And that's it for Haven today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. There's no actual death in this episode. So that's good. Can't guarantee it for the next few, though. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, guys. See ya.